you have sales reps and business development managers working for you. What did those guys do that made you most proud in the middle of the pandemic as a VP of sales? Like, what did they do for themselves, for you, the culture? Like, what were you like, wow, I'm really proud of that person for stepping up and doing this? Like, what did you look for, and what happened as a vice president of sales that made you so happy?
They embraced virtual. So the one thing that I always pride on with the environments that I go into, whether it be leading or not, but since I've gone into management, is I developed a culture of communication by the entire team. They had never used Slack or for the better part of it, even WhatsApp as a group chat, like nobody ever engaged in that. And so I started a Slack communication tool or a communication loop when I roped in the whole entire team, and I asked my directors of sales for each region in Canada to embrace it, develop your own, but then make sure there's a lot of transparency with open communication of what you guys are talking about regionally to the entire team. So everybody knows what's going on. Ideas are being shared. Best practices are being shared. And they jumped on board and did it. And then the other thing they did is they started their monthly, where they would have live monthly meetings, the regionals. They started to do that virtually and continue to do that virtually now. And, I asked them to do it because I wanted to see if it would make them more productive and more efficient with respect to timing. And it has to a degree, but more importantly, they continue to do that. And every Monday morning they have that, and they do it virtually. And it's been so engaging that everybody knows that it's just mandated now that they jump in. They're jacked up. I've showed them how to use the music, share music, and get the vibe going in the Zoom call, and they just jumped in and embraced it. And that's to me has been the most impactful of keeping not only the culture where it was, but actually increased the culture amongst the whole sales group.
So embracing new ideas. Carson, what about you? I'd love to hear it.
No, I love what John said. It's, we're in an interesting spot. I mean, Matt, you said it earlier, this is like, it's like an incubator for sales ideas, and we've got to find new ways to challenge and new ways to meet changing needs. And so, when you've got sellers that are spread out, I've done some coaching recently with some folks that are new to management, and at some organizations and frankly anywhere, we've got to be really mindful and respectful of people's time and where they are in their life. But I've encouraged these guys to do morning stand-ups and make them optional. I find more people join than not, but do even like a 5, 10, 15-minute morning stand-up just to kind of talk about the prior day's wins and losses, successes. We're out in the trenches together. Let's share some war stories and really bond over that, get people fired up, recognize people. Getting communication going and collaboration. You can do it in a chat. You can do it in a video. That stuff matters so much, and it gets people fired up. So that's been huge. I think the other thing too that has been amazing for me, and this may sound silly, but if I'm in a call that's of importance, right? I mean, it could be with executives, it could be with influencers in an organization. The fact that I can pull in specialists in real time amazes me. If I see a conversation going a certain way, and I'm able to call an audible and bring in somebody to say, hey, you know what? I've identified a need based on where this conversation is going. You can cut future calls out of the way. I was able the other day to bring somebody in to speak specifically to a need that normally would have forced me to schedule yet another meeting next week because of how schedules work. I would have been a week off on scheduling that, but instead I was able to call an audible, pull this guy into the call. We had a meaningful dialogue and scheduled next step action items right away because I was able to just add this person right into my conversation. I was able to IM them, give them a brief lowdown of what was going on, and then bring them into the meeting. You can't do that when you're face to face. You can't do that when you drive in and have a meeting. So understanding all of the parameters and the playing field that you're playing in, that's important. That's key to good selling, is understanding all those parameters and how to leverage them best at your disposal. Sure, I miss face-to-face stuff, but being able to, kind of reach out into the unknown and do new things in this world has really invigorated me and the teams and the people that I coach.
Mm-hmm.